Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon One Pickups.
Hey, it's me, Todd Novak. Glad you are with us. We're excited to be doing this as per usual because we love this little thing we call the Guitar Knobs. If you are joining us for the very first time, congratulations, you found us. And if you're not, welcome back. And I might want to mention right now, we've got somebody very special on the line.
And that's me, Brad Macomber from Nerd Knuckle Effects.
Yes. That is correct. You win. Ding, ding, ding.
Well, I thought there was going to be somebody else.
A major award.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go get somebody else if you'd like.
So Brad makes some mighty fine pedals, and we're going to get all into his business on this show. If you are not driving, you might want to head over to nerdknuckleeffects.com and check out what we're talking about. If you are familiar, then boy, is this show for you. And if you are driving, just sing along. All right, duders. We've got a couple things we gotta take care of real quick. Like, we're not going to get heavy on it, but I just want to do a big thank you to Reverb for sponsoring our show.
Thank you.
And
Thanks, Reverb.
Yeah, we want to make sure that you guys take some time and head on over to Reverb next time you are looking for your pedal or guitar that is tickling your toenails.
Or
Even an amp.
Or an amp.
Any other accessories.
I'm still
even.
scared to buy an amp online a little bit just because of shipping. It scares me.
Well, just have them take the tubes out of the sockets.
Yeah. Well, and actually they're good about really helping you figure out how to get things and actually how to ship them. Yep. Very helpful in doing that. So make sure you swing over to reverb.com.
A buyer or seller, it's a great experience.
It is. Good customer service.
Yep.
So thank you to them. And we also want to give a massive shout out to Rode Microphones for sponsoring our show.
Thanks, Rode.
Thank you. I also want to mention that we have, as we're in our new place, I literally have all new everything. Not like a truck drove up and showered us with all new stuff or anything. It's like, we're scraping to get this thing to make it happen.
Right.
But we've got almost everything in here is either new or just new to us from an equipment standpoint. And so we're trying to sort out a couple things. So please continue to be patient. There are, just a few little audio anomalies that are happening that we're trying to sort out. But I can guarantee it is not the microphones, because they are mighty fine.
Our building is like from the 1800s.
Yeah, it's pretty old. But anyhow, so thank everyone for helping us out. Gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
What is going on in our guitar worlds this week? Jared is raising his hand fervently.
Yes, I'm very excited because a new project has shown itself, and so I'm kind of shopping around for a neck, a Stratocaster neck.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Well, I like Stratocasters. I like all guitars.
Can always put the neck on a
Jazzmaster. Just put a telly neck on the Strat.
Well,
That's
you'll
what they
still
should
see
have
the
done.
body, and you won't like it.
Yeah, it's true.
But I've got an American-made replacement Stratocaster body. It's a real deep dark blue, and I am now making lipstick pickups, and I want to put a set of Strat lipstick ish pickups, just to have it and play it around, and then kind of zero things in, and then have it demoed. So I'm looking for a new neck. So I found this great looking new neck on the internets, and I really like the way it looks. But I know it's just one of those probably made overseas, but, not carefully made.
Guaranteed made overseas.
Yeah, but it just looks so stinking good. I'm wondering if I can get this neck and then just kind of have it worked over to be better, or if you just can't, put lipstick on a pig, I'm not sure. But I want to go crazy. I want a Stratocaster neck, and this particular neck, let me describe it. It's a big headstock, like the big giant CBS headstock, flame maple. It's got a nice dark rosewood fingerboard, and it's got square inlays, mother of pearl, and also binding. So it's a really fantastic, overdone, flashy neck, which I like the flashy, overdone stuff because I don't know why. I just love it. So, can I get this neck and have it worked over, or do I just pass and look for a more simple, guaranteed to be better neck? I don't know. So I'm just going to kind of let that.
Well, I can put you in touch with some people that can build that neck.
I think I'm going to go that route. I think I'm just going to be patient and maybe spend a few more bucks to get something a little.
I think
more
I
guarantee.
would. I think I would.
I mean, it's going on an American-made Fender or Fender body, so I think I want to just kind of stay the course of having an upper quality guitar.
Yeah.
So
might as well.
So
It's only money.
Right. These little things excite me because it's, because you're like, oh man, I get to get the neck, and then I get to choose the tremolo system, and do I want to get rollers or whatever for the nut and tuners? What am I going to do there, etc. So that's
welcome to the world of Jared's.
That's
brain.
right, man.
Yeah.
It's like, how can I get the coolest,
What
fanciest?
color are you going to paint it?
It's staying the color. It's already a deep dark blue color. So I do
with
want
a
the
white
block,
pick guard?
the mother of pearl pickguard to match the mother of pearl inlays in the rosewood board.
Oh, all right.
Yep. And then the lipstick pickups, they're all chrome. So I think that'll look awesome, and probably chrome dome knobs.
Wow.
Yep.
Wowzers.
Shiny.
And chrome hardware.
Yes.
So excited about it.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's always fun to
Good
have
for
a
you.
project in the works.
That's great.
Thank you.
Antoine.
Well, in addition to really scrambling to get caught up a little bit, or a lot,
Must be nice.
yeah, I wish I just could use a little bit of breathe time, but anybody listening out there that has an order pending, it's coming! It's coming! Stop sending emails, for God's sakes!
Yeah, the emails will make it faster, right?
Yeah, you would think that based on what comes through. But
right.
So one of the things we do at the shop is we program in a Pandora station, different one every day, or sometimes we do some repeats too. So one that's been on the repeat list has been the Guided by Voices channel. And I've listened to Guided by Voices for a long, long time. For those who don't know who Guided by Voices are or were or are, band out of Dayton, Ohio, just about an hour away from us. Started in the early 80s, on and off for the last however many years.
They got like 138 albums or something like that.
Yeah, well, Robert Pollard, who is the brains and the
Founding
writer,
father.
he must write like 300 songs a week, and records all of them.
Yeah.
So in addition to listening to it at the shop, I found they have a box set that is a re-release of some of the old albums, and there's a best ofs, and it's like this monumental task that I've been slowly working through. And there's actually a really cool documentary that someone did for the band, and I'm just amazed. I mean, I think every CD has 80 songs on it. It's just amazing. There's a lot of short ones, and surprisingly, most of them are good, at least listenable.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing. I've just, as time permits, I will sit down, and if I'm doing emails or whatever, throw the next 80 Guided by Voices songs that pop up on the disc. So Robert Pollard, if you're out there listening, I salute you, brother. Keep on writing.
Well, there you go. Salutations and salutes. Hey, Brad.
Yeah.
What's going on in your music world this week?
Well, I got a bunch of stuff going on, but the two things that are sticking out to me real big are my new music project that I just started recently with a couple of old friends. Just recorded some demos, and I think we're shooting that out to some vocalists now to see what we can do there, which I'm really excited. We got one guy in mind that we're super pumped about, but haven't heard too much back from him yet. And then the other thing I've got going on is this beautiful pine telly body that I'm currently pickling to get like that old gray sort of wood finish on, and it's coming out nasty. It looks great.
How are you going about the pickling?
So you can buy all sorts of weird chemicals on the internet.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Some of them are illegal.
Right. Well, only when you're using certain browsers.
Sure.
But yeah. So initially I tried a solution of vinegar and rusty nails that you just let sit for a while, and that sort of worked. And I tried a bunch of homebrew stuff that sort of worked, but then I found this company that I believe is called Eroding Winds that sells this powder, which is essentially just iron oxide powder that you dissolve in water and just brush all over the wood, and it oxidizes the wood, and you get I'm from Boston, the Northeast area, so I'm trying to get that like Cape Cod kind of house look for this Telecaster.
Oh, yeah.
And I've never played a pine guitar before, so I'm pretty excited to hear how that sounds and see what it feels like.
They sound great.
Yeah,
it's a surprisingly good tone wood. I mean, it'll be super light.
Isn't
too.
the problem that it's very knotty?
Well, actually, this is a extremely naughty piece of. Oh, jeez! I just caught up with that.
Honestly, I've never heard a tone report like that before. I had no idea what a pine telly or
they sound
guitar would
great.
sound like.
They
Seriously,
you have to come over to the shop.
Are you serious, Jared?
I couldn't be any more serious right now. Daggone it.
Serious as a heart attack.
Yeah.
Let me run this by you. Have you ever tried a telly with a pine body and a brass nut tuned to C standard?
I'm going to say no. Not quite.
D sharp, yeah. I've only done D sharp.
Very specific.
Yeah, it's for this project that's coming up. I kind of want to do some songs in lower tunings, and the guitarist is a diehard Strat guy, and he's one of the few people I know that makes it work real well. Mm-hmm. And I just want to put this in his hands and be like, hey, let's play some songs in C and see what happens.
So you're tuning to C. What string gauges are you using?
I believe it's not like a cool custom gauge or anything. There's these Diodario sets that are optimized for C tuning, and I think they go to 65 as the low string.
Oh dear. Okay.
Yeah, that'll.
Well, that's cool. I was in a band and we played in the C for a couple of really heavy songs.
Yeah, most of the bands I've been in have been in C and drop A, and there was one where we did a song with drop F, which was fun.
Jeez. Everybody have basses on,
Yeah, you might as well.
A Spinal Tap.
Wow.
That's cool.
Right on.
Are you going to give it any kind of a finish, like a coat of any kind?
So according to this packaging for the pickling product, that it actually seals the wood, but in order to protect it, because it's pine, so it's pretty soft, I'm just going to do like a true oil finish. I've done a bunch of true oil, and I've never done a body with it, so we'll see how that works, but I love it on necks.
Yeah, I think it'll work.
Is that
fine
anything like tongue oil?
No, it's true oil. It's primarily was used for in the gun industry, so it's real easy to apply, and you kind of just rub it on, buff it a little bit, keep applying till you get the thickness.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess in some ways it is kind of like
or linseed oil.
It's an oil finish that you just keep building up slowly, a little bit at a time.
Interesting. Cool, man.
That's cool.
Very cool.
Did you mention what kind of pickups and stuff you're going to put in that?
That I'm not entirely sure of yet.
I think you should get some Brandon wound pickups.
Huh?
Well, go figure.
Yeah.
Well,
I know a guy that makes pick guards.
Really? Oh, right on. Actually, that's another thing that I was thinking about doing, but I'll have to chat with you guys about that later.
Yeah,
sure.
Sounds like it.
I'd love to do it.
So let's see. You're just not going to do it, are you? You're just not going to ask me. You're just leaving me hanging out in the wind.
Todd, what's going on in your week?
I was totally
you don't even want to know.
Okay,
You don't
enough.
even care.
puppy.
Okay, so let's go on to the next segment.
I have just been playing my Sheraton 2 quite a bit. We went to a show and we're at Jared's table and people were asking, what do these sound good in and blah, blah, blah. And we put them in my Sheraton 2, and that hasn't gotten so much love as of late because I've been writing a lot on a couple of other guitars. And so I just felt, I have them hanging in my music room, and my music room. It's an office.
It's quite nice. It's better than what I have.
Well, no, I just put slat board up so I can hang them.
It looks
but
great.
The thing is that I get to see them all the time, and like every time I walk in there, like I get excited about those guitars.
Yeah.
Every single time. So it's kind of nice. Anyways, that one was just kind of like, hey buddy, come on, don't leave me hanging here.
Play me.
So yeah, I've been playing him a lot.
Yeah.
He's a him, I think, not a her.
Great sounding guitar.
Indeed.
Nice playing too.
Yeah,
And it looks
you have
great.
59 clones in that one. All rewired.
Great playing guitar.
Sounds awesome. Yeah. So that's what I've been doing. And
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor.
all right, dude. My favorite segment, 4 on the floor. Brad, pedal maker. Tell us what your 4 non-Brad pedal maker nerd knuckle pedals are.
So this took me a bit, and I was trying to figure out, because at some point when you start building pedals, you sometimes stop buying pedals because you can build a lot of them, especially with so many kits available now. But the pedals that I have never sold that I always keep, the first one got to be a Rat, no matter what. It doesn't matter which version of it is. I have to have a Rat all the time.
Nice.
You and me both, buddy.
Dude, do you have a specific one that you love?
I have a Keeley modded reissue. It's the slant box. So it's got just a switch where it's like I'm gonna sound like an idiot because I don't know the exact specs on the switch, but it's just a switch that dials in like more hair or less hair kind of thing.
Yeah. Right on. No, I mean, that's the cool part about the circuit is it's so simple that any little change can have a pretty dramatic effect on the tone, and there's not too many bad tones coming out of it.
No,
So
I love that pedal. My only issue with that pedal is it is so pedal board unfriendly. It is painful.
just like the ergonomics of it, sort of.
Well, no, because it's got that the big nut on the base.
Yep.
And so you can take the feet off, but then you have to screw the screws back in because the feet are essentially holding the thing together.
Right.
And then that big nut that's holding the battery case on is hanging down. But if you take that off, you still have the door. It's cuckoo. But anyways, cool. I don't know if that's the case with the large flat box.
That's the one I had for years. Was the big box reissue, the like vintage Rat reissue.
Yeah.
And that was the one that just caught me. And then every Rat you play through, there's little differences, but at the same time, it's still just like, that's a Rat.
Yeah, sounds great. It's rock and roll, man.
Absolutely.
What
All right.
else do you got?
So the second one that I have.
Wait, sorry. Did you say you have a reissue or you have an original old big box?
The one that I had for years, or I still have actually, is the big box reissue.
Okay.
But over the years, I've worked on I think just about every variation I can think of, and there's so many weird little like there's one version that my buddy has that's in the small box, but it's got 4 clipping diodes, which I've never seen before, and it sounds just as good as the rest of them. So
that's rad. That's rad.
It's so rad.
Okay, what else you got?
The next one is a Ibanez bimode chorus from like the 10 series.
Oh, yeah.
And it's basically 2 chorus engines, both with a rate and a depth control. One of them goes a little bit faster. The other one goes a little bit deeper. And I just love setting one to like real fast, but real shallow. And the other side of it to just real slow, but real deep. And
So you can have it on all the time.
yeah. Oh yeah. It's just this little bit of movement, but
That's what
just
I do
crushes.
too. It's
and then
Dude, that 10 series, I swear,
sleeper.
it makes it on almost every single list we have.
Really?
Which, for people listening, when other pedal builders are claiming the Ibanez 10 series, that should tell you something.
I mean,
It would
the
be worth a
cases-
search on Reverb or something.
Hey, it would.
I forget. So there's the 10 series, and then there's the it might be called the Master series or something. But those were all the ones with the L at the end of their like call numbers, and they look very similar, but they're a different version of a lot of them. So I don't know. But all the Ibanez pedals that look like that, just they kind of crush.
Yeah, and they're harder and harder to find, and the prices are definitely going upwards.
Yep.
But
There's
they're not
actually
ridiculous.
No, they're not terrible. I mean, and they are technically vintage pedals at this point. So,
yeah.
There's one that I would avoid. It's called the LA Metal. Just don't bother. It's terrible.
I like to stack an LA metal with a metal zone.
Oh, it just melt faces everywhere. Oh,
you don't even know what you're playing after
Yeah.
that.
no, it's just white noise and hiss. It's beautiful.
So number 3.
Number 3, DoD Bifet.
Okay.
It's a great one too. Yeah.
Simple, you pick up sound too thin, cool. Just add a little bit of beef. You pick up sound too dark, cool. And plus you just dime everything, and it's this massive bass overload that sounds amazing, but it's a really useful pedal.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Awesome. Is that let's see, when
They just
how old is
re-released
that?
it.
So you have a re-release?
No, I've got one of the OG ones,
Okay.
but that was back. I mean, you still sort of can, but DoD pedals, the original ones, you can still get them for nothing,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of good pedals in there.
I was a dum-dum and sold one for nothing, but that's just because I was like, I don't want to deal with this power cord.
Yeah,
The
the 1/8 inch, the
Yeah.
little 1/8 inch jack. I had a DoD.
No. This is the big mama son jack.
Oh, the one that's actually a 1/4 inch jack.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That was a great idea when they were like, hey, let's make the power and the signal the same exact connector.
Yeah.
That's not going to cause any problems.
No.
No one will be confused.
No.
And then
Then
the final guy, this is a new addition to my collection, and I'm just super in love with it. The Earthquaker Avalanche Run.
Oh yeah.
I got, I think, probably one of the last ones before they just moved up to, I think it's called Flex Switch. The new version has some switching. I haven't touched it yet, but it's just such a solid delay, and I've never really been a delay guy, and I don't know. I'm still learning it because there's so many different modes and different features, and if you hold down the pedal while the switches while you power it on,
Right.
it does different things. But it's just, I love it, absolutely love it.
The delay wars are real,
Oh yeah.
man. Yeah.
Are you guys? What's your favorites right now?
Favorite delays?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jared.
I got a Red House, and it's a Red House Effects, and it's Mike Trombley out of Dayton.
Yeah, he's one of the guys on the show occasionally.
I forgot exactly what the pedal's called, but it's got a desert sun.
that. It's
I'm
the
sorry.
Sonora.
Yeah, that's right. It's a desert. It's a desert on the
It's
thing.
not the Sonora. It isn't the Sonora.
I don't know, but anyway, yeah. That as far as delay, whatever he does is great. I mean, he puts a lot of thought in what he does, and he's a cool dude. I know him.
It's not that pedal either because that's the tremolo.
Yes.
But anyways,
I don't have a
thanks for
delay
playing.
from. Yeah, I don't. You know what? I don't have a delay from Mike.
No.
I don't think I have a delay. Period.
So the one that I still stand by, actually you borrowed it for a while, was that Carl Martin Red Repeat.
Yep.
And that one, I mean, it's not. I wouldn't call it a true delay. I guess it's more of a. I don't know. It does really good slapback, which is I think the sound I like best out of it.
Yeah,
but
you know what? I've had a couple of different delays in and out of my hands. I don't normally play with a delay because the type of music that I'm playing just really doesn't require it at all, and I don't even run a reverb pedal. I've got a little bit of reverb going on my actual amp, but I just find that wherever I'm playing, it's going to pretty much give me a lot of that, and but I like delays. I've tried to run. I was running that slapback style when I was doing some of the different music where I was like, I actually need slapback right here. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I love messing around with them. But I have not found one that I'm like, this is my delay pedal. Yeah, so I'm still looking out there. I'm still looking for it. I'll find one someday.
Me too. Recommend us one on the socials, everybody.
I was just gonna. He just did.
Well, what does everybody else think?
Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks, Jared, for that good point. Go to the Facebook group and tell us what delay pedal you're using. Yeah. We'd like to know. Genuinely, we would, because we're always on the lookout for good stuff. Oh man, I like your style, man. That's good. That's some good pedals and stuff there. We'll get that out to the blogosphere and get that list going with links to those for everyone else. And gentlemen, do you have any other things that you want to add to this before we get into the meat of the show? No. Great. All right. Brad, you are here today because you were a recommend from Florian Schneider of Millimetric Instruments.
Fine guitar builder.
Yes.
Oh my God.
He recommended you a couple times, and he had great things to say about your work. And so we have been in discussions, talking about stuff. Then you were kind enough to send us a box of pedals. This box of pedals showed up and completely... I have to replace a lot of the glass in my house. I'm just going to say that. These were really incredible pedals. For anybody who is not completely familiar with Nerd Knuckle effects, you may have seen his pedals on Instagram. They're etched, and they typically have sort of like a, I guess, how would you call that? It's not. I don't want to say old timey. It's not old timey. It's archival illustration.
Yeah, no, that's it's. I mean, the main thing I look for is completely royalty free, because a lot of those are old images from the 15th and 16th century, and most of those they're easy to etch because originally they were probably done in etchings or in woodblock cuts or something.
Exactly. So yeah, they're really. I was just, I was really kind of speechless. I'm not going to lie. I plugged in and I didn't even know what to say after that.
Rumor has it that you're a big fan of gain.
Yes.
I like gain. Yeah, he likes gain even more for sure.
It's good.
So he sent these to us, and all of the knobs were set at noon. Which I was like, oh, that's kind of nice. I appreciate that. Like they were already all set up. Like here's everything at noon.
It's lunchtime.
Golly, that and I was careful because I was like, hey, I think these are going to be loaded, and I had my amp set at about 1.5, which in my living room is fine. It's a 14 watt amp, a dual 12 greenback.
Dave Harris, right?
Yeah. I couldn't turn the amp down. It wouldn't go any lower. So, anyways, I was really excited, and I hooted and I hollered, and everybody else went running, and it was great. So, Brad, let's talk about first. let's talk about your pedals that we have in front of us first, just to get everybody a little bit more familiar with it, and then we'll go backwards this time, and then we'll kind of find out from whence you came.
Sure.
All right. Let's see. You sent us. Well, no, the first one that I tried out was the Benefuzz.
Yes.
And I'm going to say that is the first fuzz pedal that we've tried out that I really, really liked.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, man. Thank you so much.
I usually
That's
hate
awesome.
fuzz pedals. Okay, so
Yeah.
so
Well,
you've done good.
The ironic thing is, I didn't find it to be like if I listened to a blind lineup of fuzz pedals, and you said which one of these isn't a fuzz, I might actually say this one. That said, I would be comparing it to like very, very, very obvious over-the-top fuzzes. What I loved about this pedal, absolutely loved, is that, and it's funny you said a rat, because Tony, what did I say? Yeah, exactly. I said, this sounds like I can hear, like I've got 3 speakers in front of me, like my amp is being split 3 ways. Okay, I've got my actual pushed amp signal coming through on one cabinet. On the next cabinet, I've got a rat that is very angry. And then on the third cabinet, I've got a really great fuzz. And I felt like I could pull these layers apart, and I was hearing I felt like I was hearing them separated. And that's when I was like, when I played it at home, I was like, I literally, that's when like, wahoo! You know, like, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was really exciting because, every once in a while you hit a sound and it lights you up,
Yeah.
I just wanted to play. It was great.
No, that was a good one. We ran that through my AC-15 hand wired.
Yeah.
And it just sounded incredibly good.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've never tried that through a box before, so that's really, really good to hear.
Yeah, it loaded really nicely on the front end.
Yep. It's one of the few pedals, a lot of times we say, oh, it kind of feels like this or it kind of sounds like this. I told Tony, I said, this sounds like pure rock and roll. Like that's the only way I could describe it. It's like I felt like I was on stage. It was just all encompassing. It was great. I really, really like this pedal.
Man, thank you guys so much. I'm blushing over here. I know you can't see me, but
well, I don't know if we'd be able to tell anyway because you do have a mighty big beard.
Yeah, that's my emotional shield.
Yeah,
I just throw that, and nobody can tell.
Yeah.
So it's the funny part about that is that pedal initially came from sort of a bit of a bummer beginning because right after the Boston Marathon bombings, a bunch of my friends got together and put on a benefit concert, and they were doing a raffle. And I built something called the Benefuzz for the benefit. Oh, yeah. And at the time, I had been listening to just like, I don't know what was going on, but like Siamese Dream went on every single day.
One of my favorite all-time records ever of all time ever.
Yeah.
Every song, you can't beat it. It's just so good. But so I was, just doing the normal, looking at what people were using for that. And Billy Corgan was apparently using the IC Big Muff. And I initially breadboarded up a pure clone of that. And I liked it, but, I wanted to do a little bit more with it. And I started tweaking it. And that ended up in this box with a treble booster. And I couldn't tell you who has it now, but it got raffled off. And then a few people just got in touch with me about building more of them. And the initial run I did was a Reservoir Dogs theme color. So there was like Mr. Brown, Mr. Blue, Mr. Pink. And with the etching, it ends up being pretty cool because like you paint the box and then sort of sand off the additional paint, and the etch actually gets refilled with paint. So they looked fantastic. And I just kept on modifying the circuit. That's actually the third version, I believe. And that one, the biggest difference between that and the second version was that there's more output because one of my friends complained it wasn't loud enough. So I was like, all right, game on. I will make that way louder. And that's, I think, probably that's the one that I always show people first, because I always feel like it's that sort of memorable fuzz that, I don't know, you just, like you said, you just want to play power chords.
Yeah, because it didn't sound like, I was expecting, if it says fuzz on it, so I was expecting to hear a traditional fuzz, and you can certainly get a traditional fuzz tone out of it. Like if you roll back, I'm going to grab it real quick.
And level down. Grab it.
Yeah, if you roll back the fuzz, or just a little bit, and the contour and the tone, you can start to get in a big muff land, I think, a little bit.
Yep.
But where I had it set, it sounded like something totally new, and I was like, I don't have this sound, and that was exciting.
Well, dude, thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. One of my buddies who runs a studio out here, his favorite setting is dime, or one of his favorite settings is dime, the fuzz, the contour, and the tone, and he calls it the White Widow tone. And it sounds like a bad HM2.
Yeah.
But you never know, it might work.
Yeah.
For that one part in that one song.
It definitely handled single coils and humbuckers very differently. I will say that, which is cool. I actually like that about it. That tells me that there's a lot more dynamics going on than just like, plug your guitar and you kind of sound like the pedal. It didn't sound like the pedal. It sounded like my guitar kind of had a new voice, I cannot say enough good things about that Ben of Fuzz. It was stellar. So then, what else did you get? You gave us next in the box. I think I pulled out the no. I pulled out. This is good. This is the one. It looks like the. I can't remember it looks like a little house, like a hut in the woods.
Yes, with chicken legs.
Yeah, with a hubba wubba, or what's it called?
Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga.
Yeah,
I knew I could.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, that's the name of that pedal. And actually, I just had the craziest experience with this pedal. I woke up one morning, looked at my Instagram feed, and one of a musician locally here who plays in this band called Cortez had posted, I'm so excited about my new Baba Yaga. And I was like, well, that's not my pedal. And it turned out that there was a guy who was building a pedal, just like we just happened to use the same name. And I knew this was going to happen at some point because it's a great name. Like, and it's a great, do you guys know the story of Baba Yaga? Like the Russian folklore?
No.
Oh, she's this awesome kind of reoccurring character in Russian folklore. And she's a witch, and sometimes she helps you and sometimes she doesn't. And she rides around in this mortar and pestle. And it's just this great mythology. And it turns out that a guy who runs, shout out to Occult Effects, he runs it out of Columbus, Ohio, ironically enough.
Really?
And yeah, he's just starting out, but and we ended up at the same place calling it this pedal because we both love this myth so much.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I got in touch with him on Reverb, and turns out he used to live in my neighborhood in Boston, and we have like all these, we all know the same people, and we came to a great agreement on using the name. And it was just the best possible outcome of a scenario that I was initially like, oh no, it's happening. This is where I'm going to have to get into some sort of argument with somebody.
Right.
And he was just the coolest guy ever. So definitely check out Occult Effects. He's doing really, really cool stuff.
I swear I learn something every single time. I learn a lot of stuff every single time, which I love.
Well, if you ever do have a naming problem, you could always go with Baba Wawa.
Baba Wawa. Well, another funny, the original version of that, I was using this font that I had found that was a Russian font. And I made a bunch of these boxes, and then several people from Russia got in touch with me and was like, yo, that doesn't say what you think it says.
Oh, you're kidding.
It was like, I think it said like BR YR. Like the letter just happens to. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the history of that pedal and that artwork was done by a local artist here who's done a few pedals for me, named Michelle Dugan, who I adore, and I'm hoping to do more work with her in the future as soon as I come up with some more designs.
Awesome, that's cool.
But,
lots of shout. I like the communal aspect of your thing, man.
That's what it's all about, man. You gotta support each other. But so that was sort of an exercise in use as many transistors as possible. I don't know if you guys popped the back off that, but there's way more gain stages, or the way the gain stages are arranged. Several of them use multiple transistors, and it just kind of ends up being this really weird fuzz that I'm enjoying quite a bit. That's the new prototype.
Hang on real quick. We're going to I want to see this. Hang on. Okay, we just took a tiny break just to actually uncork these boxes here because I was really curious. And these are extremely tidy, really,
super clean,
really nicely done. I mean,
even the way
impressive.
The wires are run, they're
very impressive.
Uniform.
Yeah.
Dress.
So you wanted us to look at the mass of transistors in the Baba Yaga?
Yeah.
Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
That's the one that Jared has in his grubby paws right now. Jared, can you mind if I thank you real quick here?
Be my guest.
Yeah. Ooh, you got some fun ones in there too.
Just the way he's running those wires is you can't get any more.
Yeah,
neat,
super clean, very very nicely done.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was looking at the ill omen. We'll get to that in a second. This is all. It's hard to. These aren't color, painted boxes, so that it's all metal and it's all etched, and they're complex etchings. So if you're at arm's length, it is less easy to tell what they are.
But they will stay like that for a long time.
Yeah.
And only one of them actually has the name of the pedal on the front. That's my new. I'm trying to go with the the artwork is the name of the pedal. But
I think that's a good move.
Oh, all right, cool. I wasn't completely sold, but
no, I think it's cool that way. I don't need the name of it on there. If you put it on the side, that wouldn't maybe hurt so much.
Yeah,
but,
true.
Anyway, so we were talking about the Baba Yaga, and that was just a big, it's a distortion machine.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like
there's so much gain. So there's the gain control. I'm making air quotes here. Is the texture control, and there's so much gain even at the lowest setting that I was like, I can't call this a gain control. It's just different flavors of clipping essentially.
Right.
And yeah, my favorite part of that pedal is the highs. The high control just unlocks all these upper harmonics that I don't know. That's my favorite knob to play with on that guy.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna, that one was, just, that was a lot. That was a wall of distortion.
Yeah.
So then the next one I picked up. Now, granted, at this point in time, I had my daughters doing homework and stuff, kind of in the general vicinity, and I always warn them. I say "Hey, everybody, I'm going to make some noise," and they're like, "Okay, all right, whatever." As I was mentioning, I did not have my amp super loud. I was trying to be conscious of them. I plugged in the Martyr box, which has the picture of. At first I thought it was who's the saint that got shot by all the arrows. I'm trying to remember that.
Valentine.
Yeah, right.
He shot all the arrows.
No, he got. There's some. Old
that was quick, man.
Saint thing. Yeah. Anyways, there is a man in a basket who had something very unfortunate happen to him.
Ooh.
And he's strapped into a basket. It looks like how they used to hang put the pirates out to dry in the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah.
Not far off.
So I had this at noon. I plugged it in, and fortunately the boost wasn't already engaged. And I clicked this thing, and I swear I'm not even joking. It was like the Back to the Future scene. I was like, holy hell. That was so much power in that. It was at least, I mean, it was at least four times my volume at noon. It was incredible. Yeah. And then I hit the boost, and that was real fun. Breathe,
buddy.
Bogaggle. So we brought this into Tony's shop, and whenever you have something, you ask somebody like, oh, try this thing, try this food. And you sit there and you're like, you wait and you're like, right. And you got a big dopey grin on your face. So he's plugging it in and he hits it. And I'm like, hit the boost. And then it was just like, it was like a freaking dragster engine.
Yeah. It went from,
it was incredible.
Yeah. It went from an AC 15 to an AC 30.
Yeah. It was like AC 60.
The funny part about that circuit is it's super, super simple. And I initially developed that or a similar pedal for a band in Boston, this doom band called Thorn, that they wanted a sort of fuzzy overdrive kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And the pedal I developed for them is a little bit different than what the Martyr box turned into. But it's basically just a couple of transistors on each stage. So the topology between the two stages is very similar, but it's just two transistors just beating the crap out of each other. And the boost channel is voiced a little bit brighter just because when you step on
fizzier fizzy.
Yeah. It kind of just shifts the whole frequency spectrum up. You cut your low end a bit and get way more top on it. But depending on,
if you punched in during a live set on that, I mean, it's one of those when you get any kind of dual or stack drive and you hit a boost or you hit it for like, quote unquote solo effect or whatever, it just usually sounds like a little bit more of whatever you're doing. This it gives it a very different dynamic. In I think a very effective way. It's what you want to hear when somebody punches into something.
That's my whole thought. It's like whenever you step on a distortion box, you want it to be louder too, Like there's nothing worse than when somebody's playing clean and then they step on their distortion channel or on their distortion box and the volume drops and it's like, no, that's where it's supposed to get heavy.
Yeah. That was just really incredible. I instantly texted several people and was like,
So just a quick note about the artwork on that. That image is from a book called Book of Martyrs, which is where the name, the Martyr box, came from.
Right.
And that particular image is called Marcus Covered in Honey. And I could not resist putting that on a pedal.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
It just... And the way it actually sits on the pedal, I was really pumped about how it's floating right in the center. And
it looks like it was custom made for it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's from a book that I think the book I have is from the 18th century or something like that. It's just so
basically
old.
Being pecked to death.
Yep. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yay.
I think it's also worth mentioning you have really, really lovely little lamps in here.
Oh yeah, that
really nice, big, oversized. They're not jeweled, which is kind of cool. I like that.
They're just big old LEDs.
Yeah, big old LEDs, but they're not. Alchemy Audio just did a little blurb on this on the socials where they created a little switch. He actually put a trim pot on. Trying to remember what pedal. Put a trim pot on the back of the pedal where you could actually dial up or dial down your LED because the pedal that he got, the complaint was that it was too bright. I have a couple pedals and I'm like, I have to put my hand over it to see what I'm doing. And what is really nice is that these are big, but they're not blinding.
Right. like you have to be at a very specific angle to get the full undiffused
Right.
lumens hitting you, and that's what I like about them too, is you can dumb down how much current they need because they're so huge.
Yeah. It's huge. And then I think the last one that I tore into was the Ill Omen. Now,
Yeah.
I will say that when first of all, I love the artwork on this. It's a bunch of what appear to be ravens basically attacking a white dove, which is like, So I saw this and I was like, based on the last one that I heard, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I in for right now?
That's probably the most mellow one I sent you.
It actually, well, I wouldn't. Mellow is not a word that I would use to describe any of your work, my friend. However, it was one that I was so excited about. I probably played this one the longest. This is, Tony, how did I describe this?
Well,
This was the last one that we played.
okay, that's with the middle switching.
Yeah. So just for those who are don't have a visual on this right now, there are 4 knobs. One is gain, one is low, one is high, one is level. There's 1 foot switch, but there's a itty bitty micro toggle. I like the micro toggles.
Yes.
It's a tiny little micro toggle right above the white dove. And that was the magic right there. Like I really did not know what to expect with this, but Tony, I'm giving okay.
I won't tell you. I just didn't want to be all blabbity blabbity Well, you
blabbity.
are blabbity blabbity.
Yeah. Anyways, so here's what happened, Brad. I plugged it in. It was I think you actually had it set to middle position, but I flipped it over to the left. So I started out left. It's a 3-way toggle, everybody. When I plugged it in, it sounded like a really great overdrive, like just a really, really juicy overdrive. Again, everything was set at noon. I played and I was like, okay, that sounds sort of actually kind of straightforward. I was imagining something a little, based on what I just heard. Now, granted, I had turned the level down to about 3 because the last time it was insane. So I had that level down at about 3, and then I started kind of finding a sound that I liked on it. I was playing my Gibson double cutaway that's got dual humbuckers in it, so I pushed up the high a little bit, and I actually think I dropped the low just a touch and pushed the gain up a little bit, and it started to sound real sweet, and I was like, I like this. Let's see what the toggles do. And then I went to the middle, and I was like, I just lit up. I lit up. And then I went all the way to the right immediately just because I was like, where's this thing going? And that toggle all to the way right is where I found joy.
Oh, I'm so glad hearing that, man. Like that's all the way to the right was the setting that I was like, I don't know if people are going to dig this. Again,
loved it.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
I absolutely loved it. And I couldn't, there's certain things, everybody, I know very little. Let me just say that. I'm a bumbling fool in the guitar world, and sometimes I don't know how to describe things, or I use too many words and too many blah blah to describe something that Tony would just go, "Oh, you mean a blank?" So the way that I described it to him, and the reason that I got so excited about it, because okay, we talked about rat pedals. Rat pedals is sort of like you turn it on, it sounds like a rat. Pretty much. And there's sort of rat pedal isn't a super dynamic sound. It's just a great sound, right? It's a good punch, right? What I really loved about this, it's kind of funny. I felt like, and again, this is the other sound I was looking for my current band. What I heard was my amp and this together. Like I could hear almost clear ringing notes and chords underneath and or over this layer of really great drive, which was a really cool dynamic that I hadn't heard before in any of the pedals that I have. Now, Tony was like, I think it's just a low, mid, high boost. I'm pretty sure. I'm like, no. There's layers. I can tell. It's like I've got multiple cabinets. They're all playing something to you.
That's right.
You just got to peel back the layers.
It's just a mid boost, not a high boost, and a treble boost. Yeah. So tell us about this.
So that mid-range switch is, you're absolutely right. It is work in the mids. But that's the new addition, the newest part of this pedal. This is the fourth version of that. But it's a Baxendal tone stack.
It's a what?
Baxendal tone stack.
Elaborate on that pretty please.
So it affects your lows and your highs, but it leaves your mids alone. Okay. So if you want a scooped tone, you just kind of pump your lows and your highs up, and then you've got that nice scooped curve. If you want a mid hump, you drop your lows and your highs, and the mids are always in the same place, which is the middle position. Like that's the flat position in the switch. And then it came about by accident. I was breadboarding this up, and I accidentally put two capacitors in the wrong spots. So it was mismatched in this way that I started playing it and was just like, oh, that sounds great. And that ended up being the right setting. All the way to the right was that sort of scooped setting, which really emphasizes your high end. And it was a complete accident. And it took me a long time to find, because the switch involved is kind of a unique switch. Like mechanically, it's doing something kind of different than what most switches do. So basically it's a scoop, flat, or low mid-ish boost, but it changed the pedal for me too, man. I had one on my pedal board for a long time that was sort of my low gain boost sound. And once I put that switch in, the gain just started coming up a little bit more. And I don't know, I'm really excited that you enjoyed that switch so much, man.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm trying to adequately describe it. This is what I'm going to say. It sounded like I had a little bit of clean signal, a rat, and like maybe a range master type situation going on. Right on. Tony, treble boost.
Yeah.
So when you say, okay, it's funny because then I went back and read the paper that you sent, which I probably should have read before, but I just wanted to play them. The scoop is I'm going to say that's a misleading term.
Fair enough.
Because when I think of scoop, I think of, that's what I want to hear most of, like my, thrash metal in or whatever. Right.
Right.
And you think of, big scooped amplifiers and lots of,
right.
And quite the opposite. I was playing like big sort of arena ringing kind of chords and power chords, and that's where that dynamic. I was hearing the ring specifically. I was doing a chord, and you could hear it, all the dynamic of the chord. But in this particular riff that I was playing, I then single out two single notes on the low E, and I could actually hear them super clear. And that's what I got really excited about, because the kind of stuff that I play, I like to put in those little tiny, sort of pleasantries, if you will, in the middle of big power chords, singling out little things to give it personality. And a lot of times, man, it just gets lost and it gets drowned out. And this absolutely just pulled them right out. It was great.
Right on, man. Did you guys try any of these on bass by any chance?
No, but we were doing single coils at my place, and you used humbuckers on yours.
Yep.
And you could definitely, I didn't hear Todd's humbuckers, but you could definitely hear, I think sometimes in the right position, it was almost maybe too bright on the single coils. Do you think?
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Because I kept trying to push, and I'm like, no, this is where I had it, and I wasn't thinking like, oh wait, he's playing a single coil.
But when we I've got a 4-way switch on that guitar, so in the fourth position, it's basically a humbucker, in series, And so it does kind of mimic the humbucker side of it.
Yeah.
So so you could I kind of got a feel for that, but yeah, it was a cool pedal.
Right on, man.
Yeah, really
Appreciate
it. So, I mean, we've kind of thoroughly talked about like the pedals that we have in front of us. It's worth mentioning, you have a very specific style about these, and I'm going to go out on a limb and just kind of say, as somebody who doesn't play doom rock, right? When you first look at these, that is somewhat the impression you're like, oh, this is probably heavier than what I play, right?
Right on.
The subject matter is a little bit darker. It's in a metal box. It's like etched, all this stuff. I'm like, okay, so this is just going to be, like, right. And man, I was so excited to hear this because I felt like I could hear me playing in this, and these are almost misleading. So people, as you're looking at these, don't judge a book by its cover. Exactly. Unless you want that book to be none more black, then yes, grab it. Pretty much.
Or if you like being tied up in a basket and coated in honey.
Yeah, and eaten alive.
Yeah,
So your etching is, it's kind of a thing here. So walk us through that. How did that all come about?
So initially, I was when I first started building pedals, I was building it all on perf board and on strip board and on just like the sort of generic board that you can get at Radio Shack or you can get wherever. And when I started sort of going over to designing circuit boards, I was making them myself because it was cheaper at the time to just make them yourself. And my circuits were so simple that it didn't require a really complex double-sided board or anything. So I learned how to etch my own circuit boards. And one of the ways to do it was using this material called press and peel blue, which is just this special paper that you print onto, and then you iron that paper onto the circuit board and drop it in acid, and everything that is covered with this paper doesn't etch, and then everything that isn't etches away. And after I built a few pedals just in bare boxes, I started trying to figure out a way to put control labels and everything on it, and I didn't know how to silkscreen. And most pedals that I know of are silk screened on or some sort of UV printing now. So I just thought, might as well try etching them. And it worked. And it took me a long time to figure out how to etch it properly. And I've had a lot of help from guys that have been doing it a lot longer. If I can do one more shout out, Chris at Handsome Beard Etching has been an absolute godsend to me and has been super, super helpful and helped me figure out a bunch of stuff with my etching process. I just finished a huge order, or the biggest order I've ever worked on. One of my favorite bands released a pedal and they asked me to etch the pedals for them. And it was a crazy experience, but doing stuff in a big quantity like that, it's, you end up dealing with all this chemical disposal stuff that was kind of that. Well, it was a scare. Like that was my biggest fear about doing a big order was what do I do with all this residual chemicals? And Chris at Handsome Beard Etching just helped me figure out this formula that I could just keep reusing. So I'm standing on the shoulders of giants here, and he's been a wonderful, wonderful mentor for me.
Killer.
Yeah.
Are you, do you ever do like color washes on them or anything like that?
Yeah, I do actually. All my pedals, you can order a color. If I can find the right spray paint, I'll do basically the sides and the back and the bottom. I'll get a solid color spray paint, and then the top gets the same sort of finish, but I sand it back so that it's only the etched parts that get filled with the paint.
Oh, that's cool.
And it looks great. It really does look well. Some colors work better than others, but yeah.
Could you do a plaid one for me?
I could try. I could totally try, my man.
So let's see. We just talked about 4 pedals, but you obviously have more than that. Why don't you tell us about a couple others? I know that there's one that you can't keep in stock, right?
Yeah. The lip splitter, which is my ABY box, is I can just, they keep, every time I buy enough parts to build another batch of them, they all sell out, and it's a utilitarian box, but it's got a really nice sounding buffer in it. And I know that's one of those things that a lot of people are like, nice sounding buffer. It's a buffer. That's all it does. It doesn't add any color or anything. But one of my drummer, who is an engineer at a local studio here, has told me that he frequently will, even if people are just playing through one amp, he'll run it through the lip splitter, because the buffer really does, it improves your sound in a lot of cases, but it's just a simple ABY box with a transformer isolated output that you can do isolation. The transformer is switchable, so you can use it or not use it. Because if it's not needed, you don't need to add extra things to your signal path unless you want to.
Right.
And then there's a ground lift and a polarity reversal, and it's just a super, super simple. It's almost all point to point, except for the buffer circuit board, which I'm reconsidering. The more I have to build these, the more I'm thinking, maybe I put this all on a circuit board, because they do take a long time to build.
Yeah.
But I expand those out to 4 or 5 channels, and I'm pretty proud of them. I used the same one on my board in my band for 10 years and never had any problems with it. And now that same switcher is on my bench as my test one.
That's cool. And it looks rad too. I mean, that's actually like a really cool pedal. I do recall the first time that I went to go check your stuff out, I was like, oh, that one looks cool.
Yeah.
It's got 3 different color jewels, or not. I keep calling them jewels. They're not jewels. They're not, but they look like jewels.
Yeah. They're almost the same size. They're just big old LEDs. But I was thinking, if you're playing through 2 amps and you're playing through both at the same time, and then you're coming out of that and going back to a single amp, you want to know which amp you're on. So you kind of need 3 LEDs, or at least one that does 2 colors. But I can't find those this size LED.
Yeah. And it's got like 3 little itty bitty toggles on it too, which who doesn't like an itty bitty toggle?
Yeah.
Right. Cool, man. Are you? Do you have plans for any kind of new things in the works?
The main one that's I'm sort of kicking around right now is this dual loop pedal, not looping or anything like that, but it's 2 effects loops. Mm-hmm. One of them has a high pass filter, one of them has a low pass filter on it, and the idea behind it is
that's weird.
You can blend 2 pedals together in parallel, or you can use one channel as a clean side and then the other channel is whatever you're doing in the boost. And I'm thinking more for bass players, so they can use whatever pedal they want but still retain their low end. So I'm still working on that design, but I'm trying to make the utilitarian pedals like that a little bit sexy, and like putting cool graphics on them. And
you've done that successfully.
Trying to branch out from just the ABY, but anybody that's played through 2 amps before and had all those different colors in their palette just sitting right there with the 2 amps, it's so much fun.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, we won't go like super deep dive into way backness, but I am curious how you actually got started doing this kind of stuff.
So, super abbreviated version. In high school, I started playing bass. I got a subscription to Bass Player magazine. The Jocko biography had just come out. I read that and I ripped all the frets out of my bass, because if Jocko can do it, I can do it, right? That's totally logical thinking. And then I needed to learn how to fix instruments, because I completely destroyed my PV bass that I had at the time. And my shop team. Yeah. Oh yeah. It was. I think it was a Milestone 2.
I have a PV Fury.
I've got a PVT 40 that I will never sell.
The T-Series.
Oh no!
God, I love those things, but they, my back does not.
Yeah, you need a back brace or something to hold it for you.
Right.
But my shop teacher, my high school, I figured it out in high school, where my senior year I was basically in shop like 5 times a day because I had just gotten all the requirements done. And my shop teacher helped me learn how to build a really nice looking guitar that would not play at all. And then I found this school in England that I went to learn how to build guitars. And they had an electronics course that was where I fell in love with it. And I started building amps as soon as I got home, and none of them worked. And then my grandfather helped me out with a little bit, but it basically was just downsizing from, I want to build guitars. Well, I can't really do that in an apartment.
Right.
Okay. I want to build amps. Well, I can't really test that in an apartment. I'll build pedals. Yeah, exactly. And then I just got to building pedals, and you can do it on a small scale, and it's a really fun way to learn.
Yeah, I know how it feels. I was living in a small apartment with my wife, and we had one spare bedroom, and that's where I started experimenting with guitar pickups, and that's where I got my start. So I started doing 10 set pickup orders in this little room, and they were going out to who knows where. Yep. But that's how I got started as well.
You got to build on what you're capable of doing. And I build for another company right now as well, or just one of their pedals. And that's a great learning experience. And it really, like the assembly part of things is kind of my favorite part. I just like building stuff.
Sure.
I totally understand that. I like doing a pedal every now and again. It probably takes me about 10 times as long as everybody else, but it's fun. It's great. And you get, hey, look, guys, we like gear. So if I say, hey, I'm going to buy this pedal. Well, I'm going to need some things to buy this pedal. Guess I got to go get more geary things.
Yep.
And that turns into birthday lists and the Christmas lists and all that business.
Yep.
So
the hunt is fun.
Super fun.
Yep.
What's your weapon of choice, as it were, guitar-wise?
Right now in the band I'm playing in, I had a old all parts jazz body, like a jazz bass body. And I was out on tour with my band, and Warmouth was doing this like super sale where they had a bunch of really nice necks for next to nothing. And I got a nice solid jazz bass neck, and slapped together a jazz bass that I'm absolutely in love with. And I've never played a jazz bass for any long period of time before. And it's my new baby.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping that the marketing campaign for that was actually next to nothing. That would have been smart. Hey, Warmouth, you missed out on that one.
Yeah, right.
Cool, man. Well, dude, thank you so much for sharing all about your pedals. I know that there's a lot more story underneath there to be had, but it was great. I'm going to go out on a limb. I fear like I might have talked too much, but I was just really excited about these, and I wanted to share it with everybody.
No.
Well, thank you so much for having me, man. This has been a blast, and this is the worst joke ever, but like I'm always excited to hear feedback about my pedals. Yeah. It's the worst joke ever, and I keep saying it.
Yeah. No, it's great. I highly recommend people go out and check these out. And it is worth mentioning, I think you said version. If you go to Reverb, that's where you will quickly see, wait a minute, that one doesn't look like the one that we were just talking about. Yep. So there you do have evolving versions of these.
I do. Yeah.
So if anybody has questions about like, wait, which version should I get? Maybe you should just send them directly to Nerd Knuckle.
Please do. Yeah.
We're going to move on to our next thingamabob here.
And that is, would you rather?
Yeah, I thought Tony was going to run the drill real quick. Cool. Yes, we got a good one today.
Yeah, today's would you rather is, would you rather have a Gibson Sonics, or would you rather have an airline guitar?
You're loading it again. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let's describe this for everybody.
Yeah. So like your Gibson Sonics is kind of like a fiberglass.
You didn't say what the other choice was.
Well, an airline guitar, like an old Supro, like a plasticky.
All right,
Tony,
help us out here.
All right. So the Sonics, one of the budget Gibsons
guitar.
from the budget, also known as a cool guitar.
Oh, I didn't say budget. I'm sorry.
No. God, he's so sensitive.
Okay.
So the Sonics is a bolt-on neck, Les Paul shaped Gibson.
Thinner.
It's thinner, and the story behind it is a wood core, and it was molded with a plastic all around it. So it is. I guess it qualifies as a mostly plastic guitar. Yeah. And then the airline guitars, of course, are they were
plasticky
molded fiberglass.
Yeah.
That had a wooden block down the
Jack
middle.
White prefers those.
He has the Jetson model.
There's been a couple,
but there are other fiberglass ones, which they're a lot of people like them, and they're kind of light, and so I guess what we're trying to would you rather is if you had to choose between two plasticky guitars,
Gibson or the other brand like
we'll call it an airline or a Supro.
Yeah.
Well, you pick it.
Well, it's the same one and the same,
Yeah, right.
same company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jared, we haven't heard a lot from you.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with the Supro / airline that's not Gibson. And I'm going to tell you why.
Why?
Because they had crazy pickup configurations in those things. Lots of buttons, super crazy pickup configuration. They were mostly all single coil. Who cares? I think that stuff was mostly made in Japan in the 60s, I'm going to say, right, Tony?
What, Supros and airlines?
Yeah.
No, those were made in USA.
Okay.
Yeah.
My mistake. But anyway, there was a lot of crazy pickup configurations going on. So for that reason, that's the choice I'm making right there.
Well, what the pickups in particular on a lot of the airlines and Supros were they look like humbuckers.
Yeah, but they were just a little tiny single coil
that takes up half the space.
I know.
It's kind of interesting.
It looks, they made it look like you were getting something for something, instead of
when you're getting half of something. That's right, you're getting half of something.
But
all right, Tony,
I'm gonna go with the airline / Supro. Only because I think they're in my humble opinion, I think they're cooler guitars.
Yeah.
The whole molded fiberglass with the wood block in the middle. I've played a number of them. I've also owned a number of Sonicses before, and those usually haven't made the cut. And they're a decent guitar.
Yeah.
But I think cool factor, any of the airline type guitars. Now, I noticed you pulled up an Eastwood airline.
Well,
that is not a.
That's what's coming up.
That is
not
in
the reverbs. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but the Eastwood version is a wood body version. It's not the true fiberglass.
That's more of a higher quality.
That's a wood body airline too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find one.
We'll just
guys.
put Supro.
Here you go. That one can't be. Anyways, these are. Ugh. Oh, I almost did it again.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways,
so that's what I'm thinking.
All right, Brad.
I'm gonna go with the Sonics purely because when I was growing up, one of my favorite bands was this band called Anti-Flag, who are out of Pittsburgh, I believe, and I'm almost positive that the first few times I saw them play, Justin, the singer and guitar player, was playing the Sonics. And I remember being incredibly confused by it because it was a Les Paul that wasn't right. There was something clearly wrong with it.
It shrunk a little bit.
Yeah. And
it's a
like
Les Paul tele custom.
Yeah, exactly.
Big guard.
But so that was my first introduction to it. Just happened to be one of my guitar heroes. So that's the one I would go with.
Cool.
I mean, the guard is like 45% of the front of the guitar.
Yes. Todd, what are you thinking, Todd?
That is precisely. So right now I have up an antiqued white with a black guard and zebra humbuckers.
Yeah.
That thing looks badass, man. That looks like rock and roll to me.
Well,
I like it.
it does look punk rock.
And that, by rock and roll, I don't mean Aerosmith. I mean
Yeah.
more punk. Yeah, that's a very punk feeling guitar, and I'm drawn to it. Every time I see one at a show, I'm like, ooh, I want to get that. And everybody's like, and I'm like, man, it's cool looking. I can make some noise with that.
Joan
for sure.
Jett, man. All the way.
I totally, yeah, but she plays a melody maker.
But still.
Yeah.
But if she could afford one, she'd get a Sonex.
I think that's, a Sonex and a double cutaway. Boom, game over. I like that. That would look cool. That would look cool.
They don't make them.
And here's the thing.
They don't make a double cutaway Sonex.
I like the Tele Custom too a lot.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah,
you get where I'm going. Like,
Yeah, that's
Switches
your
in the wrong
flavor.
spot.
That's your
Yeah.
flavor. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's definitely. That's my flavor. I like it. And dude, that one's only $4.99. Get out of here. Come on.
It's there's 11 used from $4.99.
That means they got more character. All right. We're gonna. This my egg timer says that this is about done. We just need to just take care of a thing or two real quick. Antoine.
Well, a lot of people want to know how they might be able to help out and support a podcast.
That's a good thing.
These people are running to catch a bus too. So let's.
Are they really running to catch a bus?
I'm pretty sure.
Hey, slow down. The bus is going to wait for you, man. Don't worry about it.
It always does.
It does. They want your money. So there is a level that you can support.
So we want to
program.
thank our executive producers today.
See, he won't even let me do it. He won't even let me do it.
If you pick a certain level, you get your name written on the thing.
Yes. Okay. Do it.
All right. So we would like to thank our executive producers. And there are other levels that you can participate
Yes,
in.
you said that.
But the thing about the executive producers is
You get your name written on the thing.
Read on a thing. It's your own catchphrase that you.
But it's on the thing that he has to read, and it's written.
Yeah, that's
I guess
like-
typed. You get your name typed on the thing, so it can
Yeah.
be read on the thing.
That's like what you talking about, Wilson?
That's a valid point. I like that.
Okay.
all right. So I would like to read in no particular order a list of our executive producers, and we would like to thank them for their continued support. That would include people such as Tom Brazen, Martin Cliff, David Wolfson, Matt Brammer, Carlos Mancha, Pete Marshall, Derek Fitzer, Robin Smith, John Daly, Oliver Gonzalez, Sean S., Mason Green, and Chris Kearney. If you'd like to become an executive producer, head over to patreon.com/The Guitar Knobs and find out how.
Do those things. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
And I'm actually working on a couple new ideas to help out those who are patroning. So more to come on that. We'd also like to remind you that at reverb.com, you will find a marketplace just for musicians all over the world. You can buy, sell, make offers, and negotiate with complete protection. Whether you're selling from home or if your music gear is your day job, like Brad, there are millions of listings online already, and it's free to list yours too. Join the musicians marketplace at reverb.com. Woohoo! All right, everybody.
Is free.
Brad, where can everybody find you at?
I am on Instagram at NerdKnuckleFX. I'm on the internet at nerdknucklefx.com. I'm on Facebook, but I'm not really on it all that much. So it's probably easier just to hit me up on the website or through Instagram. Or if you're wandering around Boston, just start yelling my name real loud and I'll show up. Yeah.
If you say your name 3 times.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you
Into a
appear.
mirror. Yes. Yeah.
Tony?
Yes, if you'd like information on custom pick guards, go over to my website, pickguardian.com.
Excellent.
Good stuff.
You can also go to the social medias,
Yeah, all of them.
Including that of
All of them.
Instagram.
Yep, the Instagrams.
On the internets.
Jared.
And
If you need pickups,
Jared, cut in.
All right. If you need pickups, Jared, Jared, at BrandonWoundPickups.com. And Brandon Wound Pickups is my website. If you're looking for anything particular or just want to buy something off the website, please feel free. It is guaranteed for life. Well, as long as I'm living. It's very true.
Yes, that's an asterisk on the site. Hey, everybody. Have an awesome guitar week. Brad, thank you so much. We love your
Brad.
stuff. Keep making great stuff. Go check out his stuff. Everybody, get guitar stuff. Subscribe!
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes!
Right on.
The first one that did that.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/The Guitar Knobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.